I watched this one guy react to idiots in cars, and then there's basketball. What do you feel like, Jerome? Skateboarding, Valorant.
Valorant.
No, that'll be too much. We can watch a Do Believe video.
Oh yeah, those are always good. Yeah, let's do that.
Jubilee. Okay, let me search Jubilee in a section.
Go for it. I'm gonna search it. I'm gonna grab something real quick. Little something on my sleeve. Oh. Did you search it?
Yeah, wait. Yeah.
Oh, you searched it on your phone. That's why.
No, WT. Okay,
Oh, I don't see it.
Really? Maybe exit and refresh. I just for sure now.
Oh yeah, I don't know when exit and refresh this shit.
Yeah. Okay, so there's do women really have it harder? Men feminists versus men anti-feminists. Watch that. That seems kind of controversial.
Does seem controversial, alright.
Let me close that up. Yeah, I want to turn on my Twitch quality. I'm not sure how it'd be right now. Oh, it says lost connection. Why?
To what?
I don't know.
I mean, I still really don't know what you lost connection to.
Okay, yeah, I can stream this.
Tell me when you start the video, because sometimes it acts on weird.
Okay, so what are you gonna watch again? Okay, you wanna watch the feminist one? Come on. Do women really have it harder than men? You wanna watch that?
I don't know which one you think sounds more interesting.
There's that one, and then there's 6 wealthy teens versus 1 secret broke teen. Odd one out. 6 male versions versus 1 fake. I've seen that one already. Blind dating 5 girls based on their outfit versus 1 guy, obviously. 15 boys who are 100% honest. Who's actually pregnant? Wait, you can't see him, so?
No, I can't.
Yeah, I kind of like watching the. Oh, actually, that one's 50 fucking minutes.
Fuck.
How about we can watch some of it and then we can switch to something else?
Which one is it?
The male feminist one. I want to see what it's about. See what they got to say.
Alright.
Both sides of the controversy. Although I don't see if I can up my stream quality. Are you can start stream? Jerome.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Siri optimize. Turn 90 by 60. Let's see how this is. If it's too laggy, then I'll turn it off.
Oh.
Yo, it's too laggy or not. Here we go. Oh wait, fuck! I forgot to change my stream title.
Also put it to just chatting. What? Did you say something in Discord? Oh no. Yo, I got an email that you were streaming and woke up.
think that justifies being a feminist today is you must just want to get laid. There's no reason to believe.
Oh shit! I mean, I see it. Yeah, that's not full screen. Hold on. Alright, I'm ready now. I'm ready. I'll just text you on my phone.
I'll text you. Yeah. Don't play it. That's me. Wait. I put it at 1080.
And all of these crazy things that seek to strip you of your masculinity, perpetuate these terrible ideas that men are evil and all of these things. That has to be the reason.
Step forward if you agree with the prompt. Women have it easier than they think they do.
Yeah. Not lying.
With feminism, it's kind of brainwashed women to think that they are victims in 99% of cases, and all the disenfranchisement that they would claim in like colleges and careers. A lot of these careers are way easier to get into for women than they are for men because they're looking to hire women because of feminism.
Yeah, like in divorce and stuff, they get more property, with kids' rights, all that.
Yeah.
But more so, I think that from the jump, actually have it easier. Like, men need to be a provider. They're taught to be tough. Oh, why are you crying? Don't be a girl. But when a girl is crying or a girl is upset or anything that happens, usually there's like they're a princess and they're given the world.
Well, yeah, 'cause with women, they're born with their value. They innately have value. They can create their life and they're extremely valuable.
Wait, that's the opposite?
For men, it's not really the same way. You have to make.
Also, you're muted.
Oh wait, I wanted to see my stream if it's laggy or not.
Oh shit, okay, my fault. But bro, did you hear what he said?
Nah, that stream's fine. Okay. So he said, women have it easier than men.
No, he said like women are born with values and we're not.
I mean,
that doesn't. But we got values.
Yeah. That's all I was going to say. Like, it kind of goes both ways. How can we just not have value? But I do get if he's trying to like say that they're more like a fragile thing, treated more like a fragile thing.
I guess. Let's see. Let him finish this sentence.
Wait, hold on. I'm gonna turn on my flash on the back or something. So I have light. Not too much.
A little bit too much. Alright, just whenever you're ready. Go ahead.
Do this. What if I just turn my phone brightness and put it up? I got an idea. Got Snapchat. Alright, here we go.
Fuck. Are you ready, bro?
Yeah,
Make something
oh,
other to be respected.
Exactly. Like a pretty woman can go far just using her face. A man can't do that. A man can't go to a rich businessman or like a businesswoman and be like, I'm good looking, let me come to your yacht.
Right.
A woman can.
Right.
Let's bring the disagreeers forward.
Hey, come to my yacht.
I have a quick question. Just a second ago, you were saying that a pretty woman could go on to a rich man's yacht and that would be kind of her ticket on, right? Okay, so did that help women vote at all, being pretty?
But what does that have to do with
I'm just asking, because, I mean, when we're talking about women's lives being better than they think they are, would you rather be pretty and be able to get on a yacht or have your liberties?
What are we living in, like 1950s or 2022?
Hey, I wouldn't mind going on a yacht, not gonna
I
lie.
think something you specifically said shows to me why women don't have it easy.
Yes, that's fast.
I think it was you who said, women already have their value. Their value is already obvious because they can have children. I don't want to put you into a box, but there are
What's our value, bro?
women are people that have children and then they raise the child and they be quiet.
And I think
Yeah, but we give them the children.
I think what was really evident to me when both of y'all came up and talked was how indoctrinated into the patriarchy you are, right? You both come up and say, as men, we have to prove something. And those expectations
we do have to
that
prove
you
something.
put on yourself is a direct result of patriarchy and the systems that feminism is trying to dismantle.
As are the values that women have that when they were born that you're talking about. Women did not create those.
Right.
Men did.
No, they created them.
That's
What?
really true though, because like
What?
like male standards and everything.
Oh yeah, we have high standards.
Yeah, we're gonna be a zero way.
Have to be Sigma male.
Yeah, if we're not like on that whole thing. Do you remember that whole thing about emotions and everything?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Dude, I still catch myself doing that, but I'm working on it now because like I'm aware of it. It's like it's crazy though, because like we fell in, at least I fell in that category at one point.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got anything to add? Sorry, play the video.
Nah, you basically cleared it. We're good.
Those are God
Hold on.
ordained.
So-
Men and women are both equal under God and in value as human beings.
Right.
In Genesis, you have a creation of both man and women. They're made in God's
We're
image.
not
So
about
we
to
are
quote the
both.
Bible and like some feminist talk.
Hold on, but so
I mean, we
well,
can.
We're operating in a country where there's a separation of church and state. You cannot use religion as
I know, but wait, hold on. Pause it.
If I hear one more person use
Bro, he literally like, even though it was from the Bible, it's still a good message. Like, we're equal. There's no difference.
Yeah.
But dude's just fucking pounding on him.
Just like, nah, we don't want the Bible.
Bro's a fucking atheist.
A few of them are. Yeah,
Fucking Tucker. Of course his name's Tucker. Piece of shit. You can play the video.
religion as a reason to not give rights to people.
Hold on. Dude, it's called what is it? There is one. Oh wait. Okay. I think what the other guy was saying about like minimizing women's rights in the Bible, because if you look at the Bible, women are like they're given certain jobs, same as man.
Right.
Yes. I feel like it's more like he's singing like that. But as for him to like shut down someone else's religion is like low key wrong. Because just because you have a different religion doesn't mean you can't hear out another person.
Others. Yeah.
Yeah, it just makes you a wiser person. Yeah.
Okay.
Back to the video. And also it too.
Probably gonna fucking explode. People using their own personal ideologies as an excuse to implement legislation over other people's lives are simply just not okay with the fact that they can't control everything around them.
Back to the prompt, I mean, I don't think that women have it easier than they think they do. And I think to just make blanket statements like women in society think they have it easy or men in society have it harder or whatever you want to say, I just think it's kind of naive. Sure, maybe some women think they have it easier, but that might not be because they're a woman. It might just be because of their own set of life challenges and vice versa.
Yeah, and I agree. And one of the reasons that I am so passionately anti-feminist is because I believe that feminism pits men against women. Men and women may be equal today, but they are not the same. But also, too, women are under a pressing assault today in this country. They're losing their ability to compete in sports, beauty pageants, also just basic things like that to people that identify as women. And no one is talking about it. Feminists aren't talking about it. So now you have conservatives having to fight for women's equality in
You're making some
spaces.
pretty blanket statements saying feminists don't care about it. And you say, you think that all women just are against men.
To answer your question, yeah, you're talking about women. Women are not all feminists. Yeah. There are plenty of feminists who are very anti-woman. You saw it during in the political era where you have people who will attack Kayleigh McEnany and Kellyanne Conway because they aren't pro-women. They're not for the girls.
So you
actually, we have like just a little bit left. I haven't heard Kevin yet.
Yeah, when you talked about the pressures of being a man and having to provide and having to prove your value as a man, I think those are real challenges that men face.
That's why women
have it harder too because they are also being impacted by how aggressive men feel like they need to be able to secure the role that they have to play in society. But the reality of today is that because of the systems that we're in, the patriarchy is negatively impacting not only women, but also men.
There's no wrong reason to get an abortion.
There's no wrong reason? What is a wrong reason? None?
So I'll just center the conversation.
Oh, okay, wait, hold on. There's one wrong reason.
We're
Okay, wait. Jeremiah, can you hear me again?
Yeah.
Okay, so I have my push to talk on for my stream, so it should be okay. Just want to make sure it works fine.
But the only wrong reason, say if you're the dad, right, and you actually want to have the kid.
Oh yeah.
and all
I
of a
guess-
sudden she just like aborts it without you knowing.
Oh yeah, because there is that whole
That's
thing
fucked up,
about like, like her body, her,
I know, but if y'all both agree originally to have a child and she just like backstabs you, that's kind of fucked up.
Oh yeah, I get that, but usually like with abortions, it's like you.
Yeah,
have
usually it's not
sex,
that
like,
situation. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like you have sex, he nuts in you, and then like you go to like an abortion clinic, and then they take out like the cell,
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Realistically, there is no wrong reason unless you're in that situation.
You know what's like really sad?
What?
I mean, like there's like I've heard like miscarriages. There's been like.
Oh yeah, those are.
Yeah, there's been times that they actually like the whole fetus came out, like like everything, and I was like, that shit's so sad, bro. I can only imagine how heartbroken a person could be, bro.
Oh yeah.
At that point, that'd be a hard time.
I'd be out for at least a month.
I asked for like, wait, what were we talking about again? Oh yeah, for abortion.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's okay. It's all right.
Yeah.
Because I think you gotta think about it like they're not really killing my child. They're killing the cell before it becomes my child.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then that gives you opportunities to like have kids with someone else,
Mm-hmm.
Someone that really actually like wants you to like, to have a family.
But then cells interlinked. Alright, we're good. We can play it.
Bondedly interlocked. Yep. Alright, here we go.
Group of 8 men, the optics of 8 men in a room talking about when women do and don't deserve to get an abortion
Get Tucker the
it's
fuck
a bad
out the
look.
room.
So like for me, from a personal standpoint, I have a girlfriend. There might
No,
be
you
some
don't.
reasons
You don't
on a
have no
personal level where her and I having that conversation together, I might say, oh, I think we should do this, I think we should do that. On a legislative level, I don't feel confident enough to legislate when someone is and isn't allowed to get health care. Because that's what abortion is, it's health care.
Yeah. One of the paramount ideologies of, I guess, being a quote-unquote male feminist is just the ability to mind your own business. Right. Just to be able to say that this is the wrong reason to have an abortion, you're already headed down the wrong path. Yeah.
So being an anti-feminist, I look at this and I say, well, I am more religious as well.
As am I.
So I want to say like I'm more like pro-life, right? But if a woman decides that they want to not give birth, it doesn't matter the reason, maybe she's not.
So
she's
is
not
it
wealthy
anti-life?
enough, maybe the father left her. There's so many reasons. And then I also look at like just gun violence and how we're like birthing kids and we raise them and send it to school knowing that it can kill.
Oh, whoa. What the fuck?
Went on with this guy. You just like went from one topic to another, and how he's like shooting.
Yeah.
Goes all over the place, bro. Going on.
Oh, damn, bro's okay.
Bro has a lot on his mind. Alright, okay, that's fine. That's funny.
I don't know. I would feel like
it's like not a safe. It's not the best world to be raising a child in.
Exactly.
I think a
Well,
patriarchal
there's no any
element,
child.
even in your answer, not to combat or what have you. The idea of trying to cycle through the reasons why and going, yeah, I guess those make sense, is still, in my opinion, patriarchal.
Even though I was on the feminist side on that topic, it feels like I was put in a position where I was framed as wrong. It felt like you aren't allowed to have this opinion on this topic because you're not a woman. And I think that's kind of bullshit, to be honest.
Off the top of my head, I know that it was mentioned earlier that abortion is healthcare, and I first want to push back on that. Abortion is not healthcare. Healthcare preserves life, it protects it. It doesn't take it away, it doesn't eliminate it.
What about the woman's life?
But when you exterminate a child, that is doing harm.
Oh, but it's
That
not
is
always a
healthcare.
child, right? So it's a discussion when it becomes a child or not. That's not a gray area. That's not a line.
It is actually scientifically proven. It is a It is a separate
So we're
strain
talking
of
about science
DNA
or law?
at conception. If you ask any doctor,
But if you took that clump of cells out, would it survive?
it's not a
Well,
clump
we
of
are all
cells.
a
We
clump
call
of
it a
cells.
termination. Scientifically, it is a life at
cells.
birth, and scientifically,
birth.
it is I'm
Did
sorry,
you
at
just hear?
conception. At conception,
sorry.
It is a
scientific.
life, but it is not a human.
So look,
It's
so the
cells.
thing is, so when you say it's
And
about
cells
protecting
into
life, abortions are protecting lives of thousands of women who maybe are not able to
At
have.
the expense of another life.
But you're already prioritizing that other life over the woman who's carrying that
A lot
life.
of- if you
Because
look
of
through-
patriarchy too.
Because of
That's
patriarchy.
why you're doing it.
Because of
Because we've
patriarchy,
already
you're
devalued
basically
women.
saying that
So what if we're
see, these
aborting a
cells
female
are more
baby?
important than the
I
woman.
think it's absolutely shameful how
The cells
our
are more
society has
important
begun
than
to
the
treat the
woman?
topic of
What?
abortion. You are literally exterminating an unborn child.
To
That
protect
is
the
wrong.
life
Okay.
of
That is
another
wrong.
woman.
Then don't have sex
Okay,
without
okay, bro.
protection.
Really, you don't
and
have
get
sex without
contraception.
protection. How about you don't have sex without
Well, I don't
protection?
have a
Tell 'em what they
baby.
can do.
I don't have a
Right.
baby.
Tell 'em what they can do.
Stop
Yeah.
absolving women and men
Yeah.
of responsibility and treating grown ass people like they are children.
Again, we're not emphasizing any of those things.
I just
We're going straight to
Hey,
women
shit happens.
and making it their problem.
Well, it's a man's problem as well, because if a man gets a woman pregnant, that is his child as well. So one of the things that's really important, what abortion does, is it puts all of reproductive rights in the hands of women when it takes both parties. But it takes, she cannot have a child without a man. Abortion normalizes women making bad choices. We've
I like this
given
guy.
a free
Donovan.
pass for people to be alive.
Hold up.
He's speaking facts, bro. All these
What?
other dudes. Stupid.
What if the kid's an accident, bro? Come on now. Let's be honest here. What if the little fucking Jimmy wasn't supposed to happen? Or what if it's like a scenario like the guy rapes the girl, you know?
Yeah.
Like there's not just that type of situation. If it's that type of situation, they can communicate that and figure it out themselves.
Right.
You know? God damn, bro. Fuck.
That's what I'm saying.
A lot more carefree about who they sleep with and not really think twice about the ramifications that may come of it.
But again, we're also
Murder an
once
innocent
again
child.
we're zooming in on a high level
Who cares
on
who's
the
fucking,
end
bro?
result. We're not talking about the systemic issues that cause women to have abortions.
If
We're not-
we-
hold on. We're not talking about the lack of
Hey, you
resources
said
that,
shut
that,
up.
that make people feel like they cannot sustain a pregnancy or sustain a life.
Right.
And those are things that are caused by the way
don't
men
say-
have
they
set
don't
up
say.
society. So instead, hold on. So instead of talking about the actual issues from the top down and going the whole way, we go to the most oppressed person involved and make it their fault.
Mansplaining is overly criticized.
I don't know what the fuck that even means. Chat, someone look that up.
Okay.
Chat.
I can explain this.
Oh, you know it? Okay.
Yeah, and it may come up in future relationship, by the way. But mansplaining, dude, it's so hard. Like you can find yourself doing it at any point. You can even do it to like a guy. It doesn't even have to be like a girl. But basically, I can give you an example, but let's say I'm explaining something and I feel like you don't get it, and I feel like I know more than you, and I have to just like really explain it to you. Or,
Oh, like dumb it
overly-
down.
Yeah, like overly explain it to you.
Don't we all do that to some people?
I mean, that's some no, but it's a.
I mean, that's that's how I talk to Chase because he's fucking stupid.
Yeah.
But I know what you mean though. Like,
Yeah, it's basically like a like sign of disrespect, And even when they're just like, and yeah, I get it,
yeah.
Yeah, that's what mansplaining basically is.
W definition.
Yeah. All right, here we go.
I frequently come across videos online where like a man will respond back to a broad generalization about women, and they'll be like, oh, you're just mansplaining it, as if men aren't allowed to have a voice in the conversation. And I think that the term itself, it's just not really defined.
And mansplaining is just not real.
Yeah.
Like it
It's
it
not
literally is a
real.
man explaining something, and these people get angry about it. Like that's the reality of the times in which we live. And it hurts the ability of men to have conversations with women, because you think, oh wow, if I explain this issue to her, then I'm gonna be accused of mansplaining, or I'm gonna be accused of being sexist because I don't think she understands it. It's toxic, and it hurts women, it hurts men, and it's just not a way for us to have a functioning society.
And at its core, it's completely hypocritical, because the feminist plight is that women need to have a voice and they're being told they can't have a voice. And then they turn around and do the exact same thing and say, you're mansplaining me. You shouldn't have a voice about this topic because you're a man.
And we're targeted because of our identity, and no one cares about it because we're supposedly in positions of power, so we don't get.
What's up?
Women should have control over some things, and they should have like a man speaking for them, you know? Like, say, for example, like the women's body. Like, they function differently than us. Obviously not function, but like they're...
I mean, we're all programmed, right? So...
Yeah, but there's I don't want to say it, but girls are just... It's like different genes. It's not different genes, but it's like...
chromosomes?
Dude, I think I was going somewhere, and then
just hit a roadblock.
Blanked, yeah.
I mean, you can just roll the tape. If you can
just roll the tape, bro. Let's see.
Get to be victims. We don't get to say, oh, you should feel bad for us, because we're men, so we don't get to have the luxury of having.
I was just talking about how like it is low-key wrong that he feels the need to like say that there's nothing wrong with him needing to mansplain for a woman. You know?
Okay.
Even though a woman should be... Oh, wait. But I forgot to put stuck on. Even though, like, a woman should be, like, able to make her own choices and not have a man just, like, manipulating you and speaking for you, you know? If that makes sense. That's what he's saying. That's okay. I'm saying it's wrong.
Okay.
Yeah.
Having the benefit of the doubt of society or the media or any of those things, and it's a shame. It's a shame.
Right. Yeah.
I'm going to speak about mansplaining from a different perspective, because you guys are talking about controversial topics. I'm going to talk about it from just like a day-to-day perspective.
To be honest, most of the anti-feminists look like virgins. Like virgins trying to figure out their style.
Yeah. Not all, but you know, most.
In my relationship with my partner, how I try to be really mindful of mansplaining is when she is sharing her struggle. I think a tendency that can be conditioned in me through just how men dominate and want to have to solve problems and all that is I want to jump in and just solve it and try to explain what's happening here and try to question her experience and be like, hey, like, well, did you think about this? Did you think about that? Well, I see this. That inherently in
as any good man
comes off as mansplaining, right? Because what is the counter to mansplaining is actually getting consent from the other person. How do you want to be supported? Do you want me to support you and listen to you, or do you want me to help solve problems?
It's also, mansplaining is also not just having a man having.
Hey, but if they ain't gonna solve this shit, you gotta do it yourself.
The idea is when a man interjects an opinion that he either is not fully educated on or does not have the appropriate empathy to be able to talk about.
How is that different than a woman doing that?
Yeah, exactly.
That's my issue.
Then feel free when a woman does that to say you're womansplaining. I don't think that they'll get
very...
There's a reason that term doesn't exist, because you're not allowed to do that towards women in society.
Hey, that's double standards.
You just invented it.
It would be just fine.
Well, I think the difference is, though, when if that were to happen to men, it wouldn't quiet our voices to being completely unheard. My wife is a physics and math teacher. If she has the answer to a question in a staff meeting, she's gonna have to be louder than the men in the room, because that is the way society has conditioned people to operate, especially in male-dominated spaces.
Yeah.
That's what mansplaining is. I have one more question. Is it about the word?
Yeah, that's what I feel.
Is it
like
about
we keep
the
on getting
words?
hung up on like words like
Y'all really
mansplaining
don't. Y'all have a lot
and
of problems with a lot of
patriarchy,
these
like,
languages.
When you say
Well,
mansplaining,
Tucker needs to get the
you have
fuck out the
understand that
room.
Subconsciously, we're already creating a divide when really
Talking about patriarchy.
a woman can mansplain by
Yeah.
definition the way you guys are explaining it, and that's just as wrong as if a man does it. So why is it called mansplaining? Why isn't it just disrespectful?
So when your life is not at stake, when you're not being
Whoa,
attacked,
whoa,
I think
whoa.
you can focus on language. When you're not at risk of being,
You live in U.S., dude.
When your life's not at stake,
Women are attacking
like, bro, we ain't
But
gonna
I
die.
think from a societal standpoint, you guys talk a lot about social conditioning and how women feel uncomfortable. But don't you think this narrative that you're saying right now is contributing to that? Telling women that they should be scared when they're in an environment full of men. Telling women that, you know, they are oppressed, they are this, they're that. By telling women they're less than
let me
men.
respond to that. They're not telling them that. They're validating the fact that that's the reality.
Right.
Women should be encouraged to be financially independent of men.
What is that even like? They got it. Like they got money. Women shouldn't encourage. Oh, they're saying like
I think this one's
independent.
right? I
Oh,
believe that men and women are equal. They're just not the same. And I
Okay.
think with that equality comes equal responsibility to be able to provide for yourself. And when I think about
Right.
what could provide for oppression, if that a word
And they
exists,
need to pull
would
their
be
weight,
this
right?
idea that they were tethered to men to live their lives. I think if you remove that tethering, then obviously women are free to do whatever they please and exit very bad situations. You know, one of the most unfortunate stories that you hear so often is that so many women are forced to live in very dangerous circumstances because they don't know who's going to provide for their child if they leave. They don't know who's going to provide for them if they leave. And so I think financial
see,
independence for
the
anyone.
solution is you get rid of the
Speaking
child.
this through a different lens. I think it should be like women should be
That's
empowered
just an
to
easy
be
solution.
financially independent. Encouraged versus empowered takes a different like sense of support. Speaking to how men feel the need to provide.
Wait, hold on,
Sometimes when
pause
a
it.
woman makes more than a man.
I have a question
men
for you.
can feel like they're.
What do you think about like say if like there's a single mom, she's struggling, right? She has a child with her. Like, what do you think about like she just like sends it off to a foster home, but then like when she's like, you know, when she's ready to actually take on the child, she like, you know, gets him or her back. Like that makes sense, right?
Yeah. That's kind of what my mom had to do with my but you know,
It's
bunch
just
of second chances.
yeah, it's a tough call, but fuck.
I know it's tough though. And sometimes it doesn't even get to that point. Sometimes they have to like remove you.
Yeah.
Back to the video.
Yeah.
They're less of a man because the woman is taking more of like the boss and like provision kind of like role in the household. So I think that it's important to be able to equip women with being able to feel like they are empowered. And that is a feminist thing because it is breaking the gender norms of like what is masculine and what is feminine role.
Yeah, I also think it is important, though, in this conversation to recognize the women that don't want to be financially independent in a marriage. You know, there's a lot of women in our country that enjoy being mothers, and I think being a mother is one
incredibly
of
valuable.
yeah, exactly. And that doesn't necessarily mean that they're, you know, stuck in their situation because they're doing something very valuable by sacrificing that freedom in order to raise our next
It's
generation.
just giving a choice, right?
And
Yeah.
their love is their labor,
Exactly,
right?
right,
Their love
exactly.
is their labor in their home.
I try very sharply to distinguish, as I hope you will as well, two different kinds of
Do I have to skip
questions.
that
One,
too?
Safe. And the problem that this brings is in the family. I think
Can
the
I ask you
nuclear.
why?
Hold on, I'm just going to finish my thought. I'll explain. With the nuclear family, you have, and this is for both men and women, they're the most happiest when they are in that kind of dynamic. And to your point about marriages where women makes more than the man, that's one of the biggest indicators of divorce. And I think there is a societal and honestly God-given responsibility for men to provide. So when men are told that women are going to be independent of you, you're stripping away a lot of.
Do you hear that though? Jerome? Good.
My fault. I didn't really hear all what he. Just say what he said.
Okay, right. He said Oh yeah, basically whatever he said, he's just like he said that God is like giving man power, and then and just like the way he talks about it is like he's already putting himself as like a more powerful, like a more powerful person, you know. So he sees himself as like higher, you know, than others. I was just like, damn, it's.
I mean, theoretically, right? I mean, he's not wrong. It's easier for men to build muscle, right? That's about it.
Yeah. But I guess girls can build muscle as well.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Of course they can, but yeah, it's not as easy. It's a lot harder because they don't have testosterone.
Nah, you seen Serena Williams.
Bro, I don't look at celebrities.
No. You've never seen Serena Williams? She's a tennis player. She's
Tennis
black,
player, bro.
hella buff.
Tennis, bro.
Bro, she's hella buff. She's like bigger than. Bro, she might be the Andrew Tate.
Bro, but Andrew Tate is a kickboxer.
And also, serial rapist. Not kidding. Alright, that's fine.
Of their purpose and responsibility to be caretakers of women and to provide for women.
But
I would also say that the biggest group of people that are on antidepressants, and it's 1 in 4, are women that are 40, have a career, and have no family and no kids. Which is the real meaning of life is community, family, and relationships.
Can I respond to one specific thing you said, which is the demographic of women over 40 taking antidepressants, and you're using that as proof that they're the most depressed group. Men are
most. Yeah, men are.
So like all the men that have killed themselves, if they didn't do that and we're still here, men would predominantly be more depressed than women.
There's no basis for
Yeah,
but
also the
men
correlation
statistically
between-
kill themselves more.
But we're talking about
That's
two
facts.
completely separate, different points.
Well, I think
mental
he's just
health-
saying that statistic is a little bit
I'm
difficult
saying
to
that
process
it's out
because
of context
yeah,
because the men that
there's other factors.
Yeah,
like
there's
you
other.
No, that's valid, but you just have to bring awareness to all. Why does it have to be so?
Oh yeah, all
selfish, so
depression.
one-sided?
Yeah.
Like men could commit suicide because they don't have that option to open up and like resources that these girls have, you know.
Not gonna lie, bro. Like,
This is a male standard.
if my wife divorces me, takes the kids, takes the fucking dog, the house, the money, I'm killing myself, bro.
Exactly.
Like, fuck that.
And the reality is, like, you'd rather kill yourself than talk to somebody.
Yeah.
And that's crazy though, because it shouldn't be like that though.
Yeah, it really shouldn't, but that's
Just
the way
the way
it
we
is.
what did we just call it? Male standards. Just how
Yeah,
male
there you go.
standards grew up, you know.
Yeah.
I'll get back to it.
Other factors
There's
going
always
into it,
going to
and
be
it's-
other factors, but that's
Yeah,
a
we're
clear
just pointing it out.
indicator that women at some point, whether they started wanting a career, will eventually want to fall into a role of being a mom, having children, because that is what women derive the most happiness from.
You got a lot of studies and stats over here, which is cool. But like when we're talking about financial literacy and financial freedom, there are a lot of women that have the ability that decide to step back, all those types of things. None of that has to be taken away or omitted in order for them to be empowered. People should be able to do in their households what they want to do. And I don't think anybody's trying to take that option away from women. I think y'all think people are, but I don't think that's really happening.
But they are. But they are. We see that in society today. People demonizing women for choosing to stay at home. Female empowerment also means empowering women, again, to make the choice that fits them, their choices, and what.
Bro, just like, bro, don't want a housewife.
Yeah, but hey, I wouldn't mind. Fuck.
He probably just wants like a perfect little housewife that just cooks and cleans and fucks and sleeps. That's all he wants.
If I had a housewife, bro, like, she raising the kids, I would be on the couch watching football or basketball. Dude, wait.
They want to.
Dude, I can't imagine myself being that dad. It's like hey, fetch me another beer. Just
Bro,
watching basketball.
I cannot, bro.
No, that can't be me. You can play it. sad to say that.
Everybody.
Do. It is just as powerful, just as influential, just as important as a choice to make to raise your kids at home, if that is what you want to do, and also be the CEO of Walmart if that's what you choose to do. We can empower women to be girl bosses, whatever you want to say.
Would you empower a male friend if he told you that he was going to quit his job to be a full-time stay-at-home father?
If he wants to. What?
So
Cash in, buddy.
That's good. I just want to make sure because like you're only defending women who get demonized for doing this, and you're not like advocating for men to want to step up and do that too. You're only
because most men don't want to.
Why not? Why don't you want
because
men?
They don't want
because
to.
they just don't want to.
I don't want
it's a choice.
to.
I just want to make sure I follow your logic.
Are you pro-choices or pro-less choices?
Pro-less choices.
What do you mean by that?
Are you pro-choices? Are you pro-less choices?
When I asked him why he doesn't encourage men, he said because they don't want to do
What
that.
if there's like a
So
middle
then why is it a
section?
problem if women don't want to be stay-at-home?
I'm not encouraging women to stay at
choice
home.
too.
I'm not encouraging women to stay at home. I'm
that.
saying that they have a choice, and I'm not for taking choices away from women. You may be. I don't know.
All right, reset.
Okay, don't say.
But you hear them sigh like,
Period
stupid
pain
bitch.
is exaggerated.
I mean, I would.
I'm
I
glad
don't
no one
think.
stepped forward for that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna change my mind.
All right, next prompt.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Innocent men suffer because of feminism.
Obviously, they're anti-fucking feminists. No shit.
So I think today in 2022, feminism has changed drastically, and I think it's really turned into demonizing masculinity in men while promoting masculinity in women, and with that,
well, that's what Andrew
men
Tate's
are
for,
being
bro. He's
pushed to the
bringing back
wayside
masculinity,
and pushing
bro.
parts of themselves down and not embracing their own masculinity because society is.
Oh,
telling them
Nesto,
wrong.
100%. I think like anything that is deemed masculine is seen as.
Bro, I unsubscribed from the real world, and there's like a little video that played for me. It says, "Are you sure you want to do this?"
Damn.
And it was like, "This is your last chance. Do you want to stay in the Matrix, or do you want to like, succeed or whatever?" And I looked at it. I was like, "I'm gonna stay in the Matrix."
Damn.
I don't know.
Stay subscribed?
Huh?
You're staying subscribed?
No, I mean no. I said I'm staying in the Matrix. I unsubscribed.
Okay. Oh, bro, it's like, damn, let's go. Nah, it's alright, bro. At least let it do the Matrix. No, but dude, all the shit going on with them right now, dude.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I was like, fuck, I don't know.
Did you see the video I sent you that came out?
Yeah.
Ice, that they literally did a live interview. Dude, he's not even that like toxic at all. He's not like he puts a front for TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just so you know, like it'll get views. But there's like there was a scene when only the camera's turned off or his camera's turned off, but I think Vice or like whatever didn't turn off the cameras. And then they're just watching him and he was like, "Oh, you can talk smack back if you want. You're just messing around." Like shit like that. I was like, damn.
Fuck.
I'm like, he ain't real, bro. Alright, okay, let's play.
Is now toxic,
Mm-hmm.
and I see it all over social media. You can't really say anything or do anything, especially even like against or even for yourself, without it being like weaponized in some way or shape or form.
Yeah. It's a shame that feminism has become less about actual equality and more about supremacy. It's not about equal rights between men and women. It's about women being superior to men. And women don't even like it anymore, right? I hear conversations with so many girls that are friends of mine. They're like, I hate what feminism has become because it makes me feel as if I'm a victim, and also too that men aren't supposed to be men anymore. It almost absolves us of the responsibilities that we have as males in society to be providers, to be protectors.
Right.
And innocent men suffer because we're made out to be toxic because we're fulfilling our roles as men in this world. It's absolutely insane.
Yeah, and I mean, I disagree a little bit with saying that men have to be providers, but I think, you know, demonizing those men is part of the problem.
Yeah, you know, I would disagree a little bit, but I think also too, though, what we probably would agree on is that in a society that makes women feel as if they need to be more like men, all you get is really bad versions of men. And when you have men who are increasingly more feminine, you get men who aren't being men at all anymore. And I think like that's a huge societal problem, and we see the ripple effects and the consequences of that every single day.
Yep, sounds about right.
When I started hearing y'all talk, y'all have a huge misconception of even what feminism is. Well, the goal
Alright, get him out.
feminism
Get
isn't
him
to
out. Get Josh
demasculate
out. You stupid bitch
The
like
goal of
Tucker now.
feminism
Get him
is
out.
to fight for social, political, and economic equality for
You hear what you just
everyone,
said? The social,
regardless of your race,
economical, and political state of the world.
Yeah. But dude, the other guys, they just want to stay to that same mindset, you know?
I mean,
they just want to stay on their strict path. Well, like,
I mean, it makes
should be
sense.
to
It
them,
makes,
you know?
I mean, it makes sense, right? If there's no like discipline, you know.
Yeah, but there's no more like structure in the world. Like we're evolving, shit's changing, shit just happens. And obviously, people can still have those values, but I don't know. Like everyone doesn't have to be the same, you know. How do you feel about the topic?
I mean, I would say like it's just innocent, man. Like ain't nobody innocent, bro.
I'm kind of like in between both, because obviously the feminists have like a valid point about how like they want equality and everyone to be seen as the same. But then again, these guys want men to be able to be like, you know, see like men and want to be men like they were growing up, you know?
Yeah.
And having to be like strong, like the male standard. And I feel like that idea is cool, but it doesn't have to be that way. They don't have to like push it, you know? Suggest it, have like a suggestion. But it's just like, I don't know. It seems like they kind of really one-sided on both ends.
Yeah, basically.
Back to the program.
Equality of outcome, because it used to be equality of opportunity, and that's when I would say I would be a feminist.
But either
now
way,
it's become equality of
But
outcome.
hold on, but either way, what y'all are talking about is feelings. Right. Y'all talking about I don't
Feelings
like
aren't
how
real.
women make me feel in society about crying. How
They
women
aren't.
make
Well,
me.
the question
Hold on,
was
hold on,
about
hold on.
feelings.
Yeah. No, hold
It was
on.
about are men affected?
Hold
That's
on.
feelings.
Yeah, but
So yes, that's the
but
conversation.
feminism itself is not about feeling. It's about, like you said, outcome. It's about the wage gap. It's about having access to
Which
the-
doesn't exist, by the way, right? But anyways,
Whoa, hold on, hold on, hold on.
I let you talk.
No, hold on.
Let me,
No, you didn't let me talk, though. Hold on. No, you didn't let me
Okay,
talk, though.
It's
Hold
about
on.
feelings, right? You don't want to talk about how men feel, let's talk about how
He just shut him up.
Again, it's not about feelings, period. That's my point. It's not about women. It's not about feelings,
on
period.
other women.
Wait, can we have the prompt again?
Yeah, let's cut back to the prompt because it didn't have feelings.
Exactly.
Right. It's about
Innocent men suffer because of
what are you
feminism.
talking about?
And so can I pose this question?
But that
then?
is still about
on
feelings,
a day on a day-by-day basis, do you think you're negatively affected by feminism?
100%.
Yeah.
120%.
And so
I really believe that.
No.
Can you explain to me how on a day-by-day
Because
basis
it makes
it's
them
affecting
feel.
like
Because
Affected in something that doesn't have anything to do with them, you know?
I mean, are we affected by it? Would you say we're affected by it? Maybe.
No. No, we're not. I mean, I don't say I am. If a woman wants to do something, more power to her. Okay. Like, who the fuck am I to stop anything?
Yeah.
Like, I don't have control of that.
Hey, you're not gonna be over here like, you stupid. You're not gonna be like Pat Bateman, like, bro, stupid bitch. Get the back in the kitchen. Like, no.
I know.
No,
I'm not gonna be like that. You know,
because again, masculinity has this mythical eligibility of power.
Wait.
When someone, feminist, what have you, challenges that, it feels like oppression to them. So
Yeah.
it feels
It's not-
like something is
it's
being
not
done.
challenging.
That's just my perception.
Yeah.
Feel free to disagree, but
And
that's what it looks
I'm
like
not
to me.
oppressed, so I
That's what I'm
challenge
saying.
that perception. But also, too, to go back to your point about feminism, that may have been true with first wave feminism, but with third wave feminism, that is no longer
And I
the
would
case
even
anymore.
argue
Third
because
wave?
first wave feminism
What
and
does that
third
even
wave
Bring it back to the
feminism.
Bro, there's waves.
I don't even know.
Chat, what the fuck is first wave, third wave feminism?
Someone explain this for me, please.
Yeah.
Break it down.
prompt. And then also just, I love the ping ponging, but just make sure we don't have 5 people talking on top of each other.
All right. There's another side to this too. It's the patriarchy. And so that is what you are talking about. It is the pressure.
feel like Kevin
to be
always talk
strong,
last.
The pressure to protect.
You don't have you don't have a loud voice.
Today. I know you said values, so I would want to get clarification on what you define a patriarchy.
So we should define patriarchy as a group because I personally am still having a hard time defining it today because it is
So we're
so
talking
massive.
about something
Patriarchy
that
is
you
just
can't
a
even
man-led
define.
society.
So, I'll try and define. Do you want me to try?
Yeah,
and
let's
define?
do it again.
He did though.
I don't remember.
Patriarchy is a group of individuals that are passionate about.
The broader
something,
spectrum
you know?
would say
I'm gonna play it. Just basically, and this guy is just like, you can't even explain it. Once fucking Kevin is just like he basically just saying like I don't want to go deeper into it, you know. So this guy just wants to shut him up.
Hey, I mean, shit.
Stuff.
patriarchal is the societal structure that we have set up that's kind of, what's the word, sociological values of how we set up a hierarchy in our society.
But
And
a
so it's
patriarchy
not
is
a
defined
literal...
by, where men are in charge and hold power.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I'm
Away from
not
values.
saying that
Suffering from
it's a
patriarchy,
literal,
then
it's a
men
literal
suffer
thing
from-
where there's some document that somebody wrote where it said men are in charge, women are second. It is a set of sociological values that you see
So we're
across
changing the definition of
society.
patriarchy.
Dude, that literally is. No. Because, like, you know how we're talking about and like in Marina, how everything's just made up on a concept.
Oh yeah.
And like how everything just comes off of like a concept. Like he's saying, like a sociological thing. Like a social thing.
Alright.
Starts from nothing. Yeah.
Okay,
Like, there's
Tucker teed up.
Yeah, bro. Because there's not actually like real laws saying that we have to be some type of way, you know.
Yeah.
They're all just made up.
It's facts.
from
Which is
the-
fine. I
I'm
just want to make sure we're
telling you-
on the
I'm
same
telling you
page.
As a
That's
group
what my
now,
definition
yeah.
is. I didn't say there was a set
But that's
definition.
a,
I'm not a
red
theorist.
herring.
That's
you know,
how
so
I
are
define
we
it.
saying we're not in a patriarchal society?
I feel like
No,
that
I
is.
don't believe we are today. So the whole idea that our country is an oppressive patriarchy, it just really gets under my skin because
Not even that. It's just the
nobody-
government
Values that you
It's
see
so-
we're
across
changing the
society.
definition of patriarchy,
Well,
which is
from the-
fine. I just want to
I'm
make sure we're
telling you-
on the
I'm
same
telling you
page.
As a
That's
group
what my
now,
definition
yeah.
is. I didn't say there was a set
But that's
definition.
a,
I'm
that's
not
a red
theorist.
herring.
That's
you know,
how
so
I
are
define
we
it.
saying we're not in a patriarchal society?
No, I don't believe we are today. So the whole idea that
Okay. Look at the zesty boy, man.
Yeah, I don't know why I thought that. I was like, why is he standing like that? Fuck.
Yeah.
that our country is an oppressive patriarchy, it just really gets under my skin because nobody's able to actually tell me what that is. Well, by definition, the patriarchy would be a society where men have power over women and women don't have a voice. And in today's society,
it doesn't
that's
even
just not
matter
true.
who's controlling the
Obviously,
government,
some people
bro.
have
Men,
power
women,
over others, but in our society, that has
still
more
gonna
to
be
do
the
with
same.
economic status than actual sex.
So going back to the prompt, right? The prompt is innocent men feel attacked
I don't even
by
think it was
feminism.
Suffer.
Suffer from
Yeah,
feminism,
attack
right?
is-
So
yeah.
if you make a mistake, you should be held accountable to that mistake.
Absolutely.
Now with the forms of internet coming out and communication going everywhere, y'all are talking about feeling attacked for being able to say certain things or not.
Not attacked.
If you
I just
are-
think that psychologically,
It
that
does.
some
I'd be
innocent
feeling
men do
attacked.
suffer from
No,
the
dude,
They
narratives that
also
are pushed.
suffer if you're speaking about laws. I think feminism has changed a lot of laws
A lot of it
that
has
now
said shit.
all are women beneficiaries. So if you look at divorce courts, if you look at family courts, if you look at abortion, if you look at a whole host of laws, all of them are women primary. Men are heavily affected by this.
So I disagree actually on that. I don't actually agree on the whole loss stuff. But just going back to like the prompt and the suffering thing, I do think that you have to be aware that a man can't just go and say whatever they want.
Right.
Or a female can't.
Okay, theoretically,
a
we
female
can.
can say a lot more than a
But
man can,
it's
especially
not
online,
right
on social
to say
media,
that.
on the internet. There's a lot of there's been a rape threat made, and a woman said no one will judge an eye. Cancel culture doesn't come in. But if a man said that same thing, they would get canceled immediately. I believe men today are really weak. Mostly they're lazy, and I feel like there's no courage. I feel like men today.
That's what Andrew
are okay
Tate's
with
for.
being
The little boy, boy. The little boy.
He says that and he
losers,
himself.
and I mean, more men need to
Damn, he
stand
just
up
called us
for what they
losers,
truly
bro. He's
believe in,
saying
and
we
I
should
feel
hit the
like they don't-
gym.
there's not
That's what
enough.
he's saying.
Back to the prompt. Do innocent men
We
suffer
do need to hit the gym.
from feminism? I think look at with this entire Johnny Depp, Amber Heard situation that happened this past year. You have all of these feminists rushing to the camp to defend Amber Heard, and then all those things come out during that trial. And people are like, maybe Johnny Depp isn't the horrible guy that we thought he was, right? So that is an example of feminism radicalizing these people to just be like, I'm going to be anti-male and I'm going to go root against this guy. But to the point of the political.
How is Johnny Depp a victim of the system?
Like
He had
30
his
we
day in
have 30
court.
seconds left on this prompt, so just finish your thought.
But yeah, but also to Brett Kavanaugh. Big example there. You have all these allegations that come up when he's going to be the Supreme Court justice that never came up before.
Right, exactly.
What did that do as far as enable people who have fake accusations to say, I'm going to ride the coattails of the Me Too movement and ruin innocent man's
Really
life?
quick though,
That
where's
is
Brett
wrong.
Kavanaugh right now? He's on the Supreme Court.
He's on the Supreme Court.
Well, that's
Thank
crazy.
God,
And
because
then
Truth
Johnny
won the
Depp,
day.
was he
Because
convicted
Truth won
of a
the day.
crime?
Because
But you
Truth
still
did won the
suffer.
day.
But that's the point.
He
So,
won
like,
in
yeah,
spite of feminism.
does not
If
equal
there's a
justice.
pendulum, and for a really long time, people weren't called out for things, people weren't held accountable. So now, yeah, the pendulum's swinging. Maybe there are going to be some false accusations and stuff going too far. I would rather have 1 million false accusations, like over 1 million people that deserve to be in jail not being in jail. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, I'd rather people go through false. You'd rather have 1 million people that are guilty on the streets than a
Than have
million
a
people
million-
that are not guilty have to go through a trial.
I would
All
rather
right,
have.
reset. Women are fit to be president.
No.
Oh, look at this motherfucker.
I mean, really, this is a no-brainer
Yeah,
for me.
right? Yeah, I think that this
my-
is.
oh my.
I expected this to be unanimous, but I think this will probably be the most biggest agreement amongst the group today. I think that anyone who's born in America above the age of 35 that's not a felon, you can be president.
Right, and I think a lot of times in these conversations we focus on the differences between men and women, but just based off of studies, men and women are very similar creatures. I mean, we're the same species. We think the
Creatures.
same on most levels, and to say that a woman can't do the same job as a man to me is completely regressive. Now, I consider myself an anti-feminist today, but this is the type of question that I would be a feminist for 50 years ago. To me, it should be a unanimous, thing stepping forward. But I look forward to hearing what they have to say.
I think eligibility and optimal option is the difference. I think a woman can be eligible to be president. I think is it the optimal situation? No. I would kind of disagree with you where you say men and women are generally the same. I think we're completely different in the way that we process information, the way that we make choices, the way that we build society. Men are very hierarchical in nature. So it's very merit-oriented. I think women are a little bit more communitarianism or communism. That's what I'm looking for.
Communism.
Communistic.
You mean
where-
community-based?
Community-based, right. Thank you. Where everybody gets one. So you get one, you get one. It's not really based on output, which I think is good in some cases, but I think in a general
That is
scheme of
true.
building a structure of government, I would say having it more merit-based, very capitalistic.
This dude right here always speaking fact. It is true that the women aren't able to do the harsh things men are able to do.
I mean, is that true though? But like today's society, what harsh
I mean-
shit are they actually having to do though?
Fuck, we still be killing people just because we want to.
No, we don't. It's not.
Yeah, we do.
Okay, what does the president do? He makes
Oh, I mean, I guess he's right. I mean, but we all know there's more stuff he does that we don't know about.
No. But what he's saying is that they shouldn't have that power at all.
Oh,
he's just saying just because men are like more
evil.
Like he puts them at like a higher standard. Like men are greater than women. That's when it gets back to this topic. And he's just like, actually no, I don't think women are capable of any of that. Just because he's a man and he feels.
I thought about it like he meant like men are more corrupt, you know.
It can be anything, but a woman can also be corrupt. Hillary Clinton, for example. And shit's evolve until it's just gonna get worse, you know?
Oh, we're devolving, bro. Oh my god, bro.
But there come dinosaurs.
Imagine we go back to dinosaurs.
Reptiles. Yeah. Okay.
Where you go out, you work for your living, you provide for your family. I think that's the way that men typically build society.
So even a woman whose worldview aligns with yours, you don't think that she would be fit to be president, even if every single view she has aligns
Right,
with
like I
yours?
said, she could be fit, but is it the optimal situation?
So why would she? So is the only reason she's not optimal because she's a woman?
Yeah.
There it is again, dude. He's just like, oh really? Is it really like that?
But say it's not optimal because God called men to be the leaders of society.
So again, you keep going back to God, and we keep trying to center Christianity as like the know-all, end-all. What about
for
all
what
the
we
religions
is the
that
leaders,
had
bro?
female goddesses and
This guy's a leader.
Right, we the leaders, Nesto.
Oh yeah, men on top, bro. My bad.
Come on.
No, they ain't allowed shit no more. We're talking about.
We top G. We top G.
See, there's probably women that make more money than Andrew Tate now. There's a lot of corrupt women out there. Actually, dude, women are way more corrupt than men, dude. Think about it.
Well, I mean,
women can be fucking cruel.
Well, I like to other men, but like they don't kill people.
No, they can.
I don't know, but more men are in insane asylums than women.
I feel like women would like torture men, like mentally torture them, you know?
Yeah, and men is physically torture. Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Patriarchal
We also,
system.
I mean, we also don't have to sidestep Christianity as if there were not any female leaders in the Bible either.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna go to for my reason why. I think it was in London, and it's before their current prime minister. I'm forgetting her name, but she was their mayor for about 2 months, and she ran away. She pretty much resigned, was done with it. And I do personally think that women are more emotional beings. We are not similar.
And that's actually not factually true. There are big differences between us, and those differences are very vast on the spectrum,
Yes,
but we are a lot more similar in the way we process information.
I was just trying to finish what I was saying. I was pretty much like trying to go to the point of feminism has created, especially Western women, to be more emotional, more radical on like their decision making, and more like just more emotionally charged. And that's where I brought up the London thing, where I feel like that's a good example of that happening, where the pressure got to him. Resigning is coward to me, like being a coward.
So has a male president ever resigned?
I'm not sure, but that's
Richard,
what I'm saying.
so yeah, if I can interject.
But Richard Nixon, it was because he was getting put into crime. Like that was a
Yeah, so it's like double worse. That's not better, that's worse. So if I can interject. So you're kind of using this one anecdotal evidence of like, oh, this one woman got in office. Are you aware of all of history? Because like literally, men led pretty much every nation. I'd say about 99% of nations forever. So like, yeah, all the good things that have happened from nations, sure, you can attribute that to the men. Every bad thing is also attributed to men. I'm not using this as an argument to say men are bad and shouldn't be leaders. What I'm saying is you can point to any person that did a bad job, and then you can latch onto their gender and say that's a reason why that gender shouldn't do something. It's not a good example. It doesn't make any sense.
But I do want to go back to you saying a woman as a leader and how some of those things might not be fit to be president.
Right.
I think that when we talk about a lot of the problems men are facing, a woman being president could actually help some of those, especially in facilitating a society where talking about your feelings is more accepted. I do believe in a 100% merit-based society, which is why I believe that anybody, man or woman, gay or straight, black or white, can be president if they have the merit to be so. But I think that to say that just because a woman makes some decisions differently would somehow have a negative impact on society is all just based off of assumption, when it could actually have a very positive one.
The gender pay gap is real.
It's not real. Kidding me? You gotta be kidding me. Oh, shit, I gotta skip that.
Being a woman, rather than taking into account career preference, time taken off, the actual way you do your job. There's a lot of other variables that go into these studies, and a lot of times I see the feminist movement say, oh, if you're a woman, you're gonna make less than a man, and it's just a lot more complex than that.
So I agree
they
that
can't do the jobs men
like
can.
two things that I want to put on. My dad, right? Do you think my dad raised
Alright,
my
bro,
brother
Nesta,
and I
pause
and my
it.
sister the same?
Obviously not. No, I would hope
Pause it
not.
real quick.
Well, yeah, but like in the sense
you're a
that
man
my
and you're
dad.
Bro, I just fell asleep.
But look, they're talking about the pay gap between men and women.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna
Wait,
say
it's not that bad anymore, is it?
I don't think so. But I was just gonna say some women like they don't do what men like. You don't see like fucking construction workers or like mechanics.
What you talking about, bro?
Bro, there's no girls that do that shit, bro.
Dude, dude, my fucking mother was a mechanic.
That's like 1 in a million,
bro. True, but
that's if I go down to the auto shop, I'm not seeing no girl. It's gonna be a dude. Say, hey, how can I fix your car?
No, because obviously, because of the male standard, you know, it doesn't allow the woman to have the opportunity to go down that masculine path, you know.
They have,
but like you really think about it, like because of how our mind, like you're right, you gotta think outside the box, because how your mind is developed, how your like everything has built up till now, you know, to make you think that way. The standards.
Is it part of the programming, Nesto?
Yes, it's part of the program. You have to realize it and get out of it. Get out of the program.
I think I'll stay in, Nesto.
Oh yeah. You know, energy is part of the program.
I feel like he is.
I know, but he's too.
Like I feel like it's too good to be true, you know.
Bro, it's the program.
Exactly.
Alright, get back to the video. Good discussion.
Dad pushed me into different things than he pushed my sister towards. I think women are raised in a way where they're not encouraged to pursue their interests, and now we're starting to get to a generation where I think that might happen.
Yeah, I was gonna say literally what I just said. The standard, just the standard. That you know, if we get rid of the standard, shit would be different, and then we could evolve to different. You know, it'd be a lot. It'd be crazy.
But it's going to take some time. But then the second one is going to be that you get what you negotiate. And this is, I can only give personal experience again. My dad has worked in HR of a company. They offer men more at the start than they do women because men are more likely to negotiate anyways. Women are more likely to take the first thing that is offered.
That's true, yeah.
So, and that is the thing where they take advantage of the fact that they know women feel uncomfortable in a male-dominated space. So you're going to get a job interview. You're getting interviewed by a man. Everyone you saw when you walked in, for the most part, was a man. And then they offer you a salary. You're going to be a little bit less likely to push back.
But that's
and
not
that's
on
my personal experience.
But that's not on the company in that example. That's on the
AW
women, unfortunately.
company.
Right? They have to be their own best advocate. They have to stand up for themselves. They have to negotiate better. You look at
Or you
this
could just
issue.
pay 'em more.
When you look at,
But
Right,
based
like-
on
but
what,
when you look at this
Equality.
issue of the gender
Seven
wage gap, also too, it's the narrative that surrounds it is absolutely factually untrue. You're looking
Shit be hard sometimes, bro.
Yeah, bro. Motherfuckers be cutting the pay.
Exactly, bro. Can you imagine going into somewhere and just feeling like like on edge 24/7.
Hey, that's me and Merced.
That's me. Like that's me anywhere, honestly. Like in any new area, always on edge.
I mean, nah. I mean, for me, it's like, oh, like when I first got here, I wasn't on edge, but like now I am. Second time coming back.
Dude, I always feels like hella. Like I don't know what it is. Like something kicks in. Like when I'm by myself outside, and it's just like I start watching everything. I'm just like, gotta watch out, gotta watch out. Look at every car.
Oh, I was like that too.
Not boy. What was I? Oh wait, tell me what Merced since you're back now. We might only talk about it.
Well, I don't know. It's still this. Like basically what's happened so far is talked to one of my the friends I have here. It was the one we were talking about the Marina.
Oh, okay.
So I was talking to her, and she was just telling me like, you know, it's kind of sad because like I was like, more like last semester I was a bit more like joyful, you know, more inspiring.
Yeah.
Now I'm like more like put away, locked, you know.
Yeah, to yourself.
It's fuck this place, bro.
Yeah, bro. You still gotta go outside and go like on walks and shit though.
Yeah, occasionally.
The fucking air, you know. Daily dose. Yeah. You did. Where's your Adderall at, man?
Adderall, I don't have any.
I'm talking about there's like 6 kids in New Superset that are on Adderall. Have you heard something about the Adderall use yet?
Nuh-uh. I've only heard of ashwagandha.
Ash? What is that?
It's basically a pill that like makes you feel emotionless.
Damn.
I've been thinking about it now still. Thinking about buying some.
That sounds crazy.
Hey, my brother takes it apparently. He said it makes him feel better. I'm like, alright. Makes the pain go away.
That's not right, though. That's
what my parents told me. Like they don't even like him taking it. But you know what could you do,
dude? That might explain a little bit because Josiah does seem like a little off. He doesn't seem the same since high school.
Yeah,
like
they're different though.
Because the word for it would be detached.
Yeah.
Yeah. But damn, that probably explains so much now. That's crazy.
Oh, you think I should take those pills too?
No, bro. You don't know what happened.
You're right. I don't know about the backlash it could have on me.
And we're starting living in your own world, bro. Oh, damn, where your mindset is all yours.
Fuck.
Yeah, that's cool and all, but you can still be successful and have the same mindset. There's times to it, like you have to be that person. There's times you don't. It's like that pill might mess you up for the long run.
The only thing I'm a little bit afraid about is like, what if I get addicted to it? You know?
Oh yeah. That's it. Okay. All right, let's go back to the schedule.
Looking at the average income or salaries of men and the average incomes of women, and obviously there's gonna be a difference. Men and women choose to do different things. Like you said, men tend to dominate higher paying industries, higher paying careers. Women tend to go do other things.
I also think that there is a level of preservation that is omitted in these types of conversations. You guys say it's nature, right? I have 2 daughters. If I push my daughters into a male-dominated space, bricklaying or something like that, who are my kids gonna have to work around? Are they gonna have to endure locker room talk? Those are things that are real things that I'm gonna have to entertain in my thought process when I decide where I'm gonna push my child. So that's why I'm saying it's not just nature. There are societal.
I agree.
There are societal things in place that put women at a deficit when it comes to making money.
If a woman feels intimidated, that's on her. Like, that is on her. She needs to fight it. And I don't believe the wage gap exists because you're given the same opportunity to earn the money. The fact that you don't fight for your salary or don't fight for the wage because you feel uncomfortable, it's on you. At the end of the day, it's on you. If you go in and you're applying for a job and you feel intimidated and then they say, oh, we're gonna pay you minimum wage, and you agree to it when you know you should be earning like $20 or $30 or whatever, it's on you. You can't cry about it and say, oh, this is because men dominate.
Wait,
Well, so-
I'm sorry, can I
Go ahead,
interject?
yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so it's on the woman that she feels intimidated, right? That's kind of the
Yes.
paramount. So then, is that the same when it comes to like once you're actually hired and once you are the energy or the environment that you work in as well?
Yeah.
So you
100%.
so the company has no
all in the
responsibility to make a
mindset.
safe work environment or anything like that?
I never said that.
I'm asking you a question.
He
I
did
said
just
feeling
ask you that.
intimidated is not the same as being intimidated or being constantly pushed to be, like, intimidate. You know what I mean? Like, if I were to you and go, yo, I'm gonna hit you, or yo,
No,
you know what I mean?
I wouldn't
Or,
say
like,
that. The idea that women are tasked with their own social context and creating the environments for themselves that they want to operate within, even though they are continually stripped of power, is infuriating and is disrespectful. It echoed the sentiment of black people keeping themselves down because of the acknowledgement of racism.
I think we'd all agree teachers, nurses, medical professionals, objectively important jobs for the fabric of society.
in the United States.
So it's just a
we clearly undervalue these industries that are women dominant. Do you think that that's just a coincidence?
No, where I would agree with you is I do think that teachers and nurses should make more money, but that doesn't factor into the point that there is a pay gap, because if a man goes to be a teacher, he's still going to get paid the same amount as a woman.
All right,
So it
let's
doesn't
take a
really
job.
matter.
Let's take a job
Exactly.
where men and women both participate. Like World Cup's going on right now. Look at the U.S. American
Oh my
men's team
gosh.
and the
The
women's
men's team is also significantly more skilled than the women's team and brings in a bigger
and more
audience.
people watch
Skilled
it.
how?
More people
They
watch
play
it.
this-
Do you think
And no
people
one's gonna
that play in
watch
the WNBA should be making the same thing as NBA players?
Exactly.
I
Sports,
don't
bro.
think NBA or WNBA players should be
same-
making
That's
more
not
than
my question. That's not my question.
teachers.
In 2022, women are not victims. But yet we live in a society that glorifies being a victim, glorifies being oppressed, glorifies people feeling bad for you, when all honesty, all it does is, again, it provides another disservice to the people that are these so-called victims.
I haven't always understood consent in intimate relationships.
What? What? Why are motherfuckers stepping up for this one? Why did all of them step up?
Is consent is not
Or
always
all.
clearly communicated, and I think that's one of the things that it has kind of been weaponized against men. And whether the woman wasn't excited about it, or she didn't like the guy, or she was drunk, or all these things that they can use to remove their consent and their responsibility in that. It would ruin the romantic image of that guy if he asked to kiss you or if he asked to have sex with you at every single point.
Yeah. My experience with it has been a little bit
Probably
different.
should
As a black
sex is
kid,
not
I was taught that if you engage in a romance with a white woman, it's a possibility that she might falsely accuse you of something.
Yeah.
So I've always been, I guess you can say hyper consensual. What that has done for me is it has revealed the bullshittery that is all these like backdoor cuts that men act like women take to accuse them of things. It's super possible to never engage romantically with a woman in a way that she doesn't want. It's not even hard.
There's enthusiastic consent. You shouldn't like want to feel like you're talking somebody into something or like they are okay with it.
Right.
You have sexual encounters with people that want to have the sexual encounters, that are excited about it, and like that's something that like I do think gets lost. Like
But to your-
consent.
Oh, I'm
one
sorry,
more
go
thing.
ahead.
One
Yeah,
more thing, really
absolutely.
quick. I know young men that like definitely didn't want to have sex as much as they were, and they were men, but they feel like they had to. They don't, and it's like these things. Like it's informing young people. Like even though you don't want them to have sex at a young age, you have to inform them of it because they'll do it wrong if you don't.
It's baked into our culture from the music that we listen to. It's in porn. It's a dominating culture. When you go into a relationship, these are the things that you see, so you try
That's
to enact
true.
on that. Consent doesn't make you any less
That's
of a
the-
man. Consent is really creating the safety for the other person to mutually just be down for it.
That's you understood all that?
Honestly, I didn't really hear anything that I disagreed with over here. It's just the only thing in this conversation that I worry about is lack of accountability. Because a lot of times, women or men, doesn't matter what your sex is, if you're engaging in sexual activity, you can pretty much signal that it's consensual, and it can get confusing. But then if a woman or if a man doesn't verbalize it and then they go back, they confuse consent with regret. And I've seen that a lot in court cases or just throughout our culture.
But that's where the coercion thing comes, right? And like the context around, like the context surrounding, like if they were to say no, would they have been safe? Would there have been repercussions?
But
are you putting them in a position where
or is that on the woman? Because if they agree,
it depends on the situation.
Unless they were raped.
Like the Harvey Weinstein thing, like if any of those women say no, their careers are ruined.
Right.
They're in danger because they're in a,
that is
like
totally
so it's the context. I don't think that false accusations, especially for sexual assault, are anywhere near as common as people want to make them out to be. And I think the much bigger problem in day-to-day life is the consent issue, not the false accusation.
That's undermining it though, because you guys haven't gone through it. Saying that is okay is not.
I'm not saying it's okay. I'm saying that in terms of what's a bigger issue that we need to worry about.
I think there are some nuanced issues that you have to pick a side, and I'm picking women not getting raped over men not getting falsely accused.
But that isn't.
I don't think that you have to decide
those
for
aren't
that,
mutually
though.
exclusive, and it's a shame that we live in a world that's so black and white that you can't balance the interest of those who are victims, true victims, and also those who are falsely accused. One false allegation of rape, sexual assault, discredits a lot of other real ones in people's eyes. It ruins the lives of people who are true victims of getting their cases heard in a fair and positive light.
I think what we're all circling around is that what we need in our society is comprehensive sexual education.
Yeah.
And I think the topic of consent needs to be just as important as the topic of protection.
You probably would if men got raped more.
Male feminists are in it to get laid.
I'm excited for this one because I don't like women sexually, so this is going to be a very interesting conversation. I think that if you are a straight male, the way you view women subconsciously is always going to have something to do with sex.
Right.
On just a fundamental level, just in nature. Now, that might not be the whole premise, but I do think that it has something to do with it.
Yeah, I think again, the problem with these statements is they're general.
I
think there are men out there that are predatory and are posing as feminists to get into the pants of women.
And even on a more micro level, so I was literally just watching a recent Jubilee video, and it was one about a man. He was a self-proclaimed pickup artist, and this is almost a direct quote of what he says. He goes, "Oh hell yeah, I fuck with feminism."
I like to think I'm a feminist. I fuck with feminism.
And I think it's kind of emblematic of there are men that don't understand the full gravity of how people who are real feminists feel about the situation. And they kind of see it as this cool, hot social issue. And if I talk about it, it puts me in the group of the good people. And I don't think it's always heinous, while there are people that are doing that. Some of it's just such blatant ignorance that they lack the understanding.
Yeah, I think even the posing of the question is indicative of the truth of the matter, that I think a lot of the time it is that, because if you align yourself with a lot of the more traditionally toxic masculine traits and you're not viewed as on team woman, then you're not going to be in line with a lot of Western women in today's society.
I have a few friends that go to these parties and they're like, oh yeah, fuck Andrew Tate. They all watch him, but they'll be like, oh fuck Andrew Tate, just so they can get laid, because they know that's how a woman will feel like, oh wow, they're listening to me, or oh wow, they agree with me, and feel a little more connected.
Yeah, and I think for me, as someone who believes genuinely in the fact that men and women are equal, but I don't go around parading myself as a feminist, because the only thing that I could think that justifies being a third-wave feminist, being a feminist today, is you must just want to get laid, because there's no reason to believe in all of these crazy things that go after your identity as a man, that seek to strip you of your masculinity, that perpetuate.
Oh, see.
Yeah, for a little bit. Yeah.
Keep it a buck, bro.
What?
I'm gonna call it.
There's only 10 minutes left of the bid. I mean, we could always.
Alright, 10 minutes left. All right.
10 minutes.
These terrible ideas that men are bad and evil and all these things, that you can't be a provider, you can't be a protector, all these things. I think that has to be the reason.
Some of us don't identify with. Me personally, I don't identify with masculinity. I might show masculinity, but like I don't think feminism is taking anything away from me.
But I think that's a societal problem, though. The fact that masculinity itself has become a dirty word.
Did you say post it or don't?
I didn't say it's a dirty word. I'm saying it doesn't matter.
Why do you choose not to identify with it anymore, even as a man?
Because when you say it, nothing in my heart feels anything. It's just a word. It's just a. I don't think anything I do is because I'm a man. I think that it's because of who I am.
Right.
Yeah. Well,
let's hear it.
I think to your point, asking like, why would any man be a feminist? So I just think that we don't all view feminism the way you do. Similar to the way the Black Lives Matter movement has been moved and changed and developed in terms of the way that people identify it. The things that you speak about when you talk about third wave feminism is not what I mean when I say that I am a male feminist. And so, yeah, no, if you can't understand that me wanting to make the world a more equal and level playing field for my two daughters, for my wife, for my mother and my mother-in-law, and standing in front of people who want to take liberties away from them, that's the reason why I am a male feminist. It's a perpetuation of oppression that I'm trying to dismantle.
And for me, I think we're taking this from a very heteronormative perspective, right? All my friends aren't straight women. So I'm not gonna look at my non-binary or LGBTQ friends and be like, oh, just because I can't have sex with you, I'm not gonna fight for your rights. There is no personal gain for just saying that we should be there.
Two things can be true. I agree with you. And I think a lot of us agree on what we're talking about. It's just these labels are in the way of getting us to that.
It's also a blanket statement.
One thing to build on top of, too, is to an extent, leading men to want to take advantage of women is the very pressure put on by other men. Yeah. That if you're not sleeping around, if you're not getting laid, you aren't. And that doesn't come from women, at least from my experience.
That's patriarchal culture.
If men were a little bit like so, I'll say this now. I didn't lose my virginity till I was 22. Now I'm fine with that. If you asked me at 21 how I felt about that, I would change the subject as quickly as I possibly could because I was ashamed.
They make movies about it.
Right.
Yeah, dude. Like, I mean, I was ashamed of it, but you know, that's part of the patriarchy.
This is gonna be the last prompt.
No.
I want to hear everyone speak. I want everyone to get their voice in. Be mindful of folks that are trying to talk. Step forward if you agree with the prompt. I like living in a patriarchal society.
Makes sense.
I would say patriarchal society. Again, I've mentioned the scriptural basis for this, but I think patriarchal society is the way that society functions best. Yeah, patriarchy is just a man-led society. So I think we've kind of flipped the term on its head to mean something that it doesn't mean, to say that a patriarchy is a society that oppresses women. That's not what a patriarchy is. So I think if you have a patriarchy operating properly, you have men that are responsible and taking care of their families, taking care of the women of society, and in turn the women have
it's like 5 minutes,
to pursue whatever career they want, to be a mom, to be a wife, and to do the things that they want to do as well.
So, I'll go first. This is a little bit of a personal, emotional thing. At the beginning of September, I lost my brother to cancer. And I took about 2 or 3 weeks off work. And then I really started feeling, you know, the financial impact of it. And I have my girlfriend, you know, people in my life telling me that they want to help me out financially. But I have this thing internally within me that feels like a leech. In some way, shape, or form, that is because of this thing that this expectation that we put on men to be providers. It's really fucking hard. And I can't explain why. I would have liked to have a little bit more time than 3 weeks before I had to start worrying about fucking money again after my brother passed away. And I do feel like that kind of is a direct result of the patriarchy. And I know that it is myself, it's my personal feelings, but I think it stems from the society that I grew up in that I'm even feeling these things to begin with.
Yeah, to
like
start,
4
you know, I want
minutes,
to say
bro,
I'm
4
really sorry for
minutes.
your loss because I can't even imagine what it's like.
You could count the
to lose
seconds.
a loved one. So I want to thank you for sharing your story. It's really important for people to hear. But I don't think that it's accurate to blame a horrific situation on one aspect of society or the patriarchy or this without any solid basis.
That is, so I think that's a fair response. And to clarify my statement just a little bit, that's more of a communal problem. I wish there was a little bit more of a stronger community sense within our country.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like a patriarchal society is not one of support. It's one of merit. It's one of bootstraps. It's one of strength.
Competition.
Yeah, it's competition.
You said that a merit-based society is somehow correlated with the
Yeah,
patriarchy,
merits.
and I don't see the
Those
correlation there, because if you look anywhere in nature,
Yes,
everything
you got
is
some
merit-based.
merits.
You know, lions in the safari, it's about strength. It's about, you know, competition. That's just how our world works. And my biggest flaw with feminism today, or any
got
social
like 3
movement really,
minutes.
is that some things are just inherent to nature. So to try to solve equal outcome and solve all of these problems, it's just naive, and it takes away from actually solving the issues that are in front of us, because it's a delusion.
There will always be winners and losers.
Yeah. I just wanted to go back and, you know, we've been asking, what does patriarchy mean, right? You know, I don't think it just means male-led. What I'm trying to dismantle is the institutions in our society reinforcing that males are superior. A lot of societal institutions and staples of our society are reinforcing that narrative that men alone have to take on that mantle of being the one to provide, being the one to lead the charge on fixing a problem, right? Where, like what Tucker was saying, we all experience emotions and, you know, react independently, and we look for community.
Yeah, so I think a direct combat towards the patriarchy is emotional intelligence that we haven't actually talked much about today. We keep going back to business, money, and all these different things because those are things associated with manhood. But if we really want to shift the dynamic, it's about how do we own like the emotional parts of ourselves as men, and that is not a conversation that is had in society enough, nor is it supported. In a patriarchal society, it impacts men in a way where we feel like we can't let the armor down.
That's what the difference between you're saying like third wave feminism versus like first and second wave. I feel like now it's about superiority. When you're saying like you're mansplaining, or when you're like putting that men do this or men take advantage and men do that, it makes it as we're your enemy, when in reality it should be more about like working as a team, right?
I have a clarifying question. So you were describing that it's shifting to matriarchy, right?
Yeah, matriarchy. Just like more like being against,
Matrix?
like when you're demonizing men, like their actions in general.
Yeah. So like when we're moving towards a socially matriarchal society, it's mansplaining and it's men being canceled. But when patriarchy is in place, we're dealing with issues of wealth. We're dealing with issues of healthcare, whether you consider it healthcare or not. We're dealing with issues of safety. We're dealing with issues of liberty. We're dealing with issues of choice.
Issues.
It seems that matriarchy is less, I guess, oppressively heavy, because all I have to deal with is you not liking what I have to say. Whereas in a patriarchy, I can't make as much money. That's worse.
Well, it's not just about disagreeing about whether or not it exists. And the fact of the matter is, even in a patriarchal society which doesn't exist, men and women can still go and make the same amount of money. If women majored in higher paying fields of study, they would make more money. When we talk about men's mental health, I separate it from patriarchy because I think that to be expressive about what you're feeling and what you're going through, you have to be strong. And being strong, I associate that with being a man, being masculine. Maybe society would like to beat you up for that. Maybe that's why men are likelier to commit suicide. But that is still an example of strength.
I think that as we get further and further along the generations, we need to start preaching to young men the type of strength that you were talking about. Self-awareness.
60 seconds, here we
discipline,
go. This is
and honesty,
final stretch.
emotional honesty, not being tough and not like, being
maybe
able
it's
to
less
go
than
through a
60
lot, but being
seconds. There's an
aware
outro.
when you're going through something, when you're struggling, being able to articulate that, right, and doing it to the right people at the right time. I think that is what strength is, and I think that that's a positive message that we could communicate to the next generation about masculinity.
We ended on consensus.
Yes, that is a wrap on male feminists versus male anti-feminists. Nice job, y'all.
They say they hate.
Well, the video is not over. Let me stop.
Men while trying to become men. Not true. That is true. She was f***ing raped.
Okay.
Nah, we don't need to listen to that. That's dog shit. Guys, I hope we know we're not watching the women version of this shit. Fucked up.
How do you feel about
the shit? I feel like it was somewhat informational and
inspirational.
No, I said informational.
Oh yeah.
And, a pro women, I guess, whatever that means.
Whatever that. Yeah.
Shit.
Just bringing awareness to all sides.
Something like that.
I am videos. Wait, no, you gotta post this.
Oh yeah, let me stream. Yeah. How long was he doing that? I like how we said we weren't gonna watch the whole full video.
I know, but it was like an hour. I fell asleep.
You only fell asleep for like 5 minutes, so it was cool.